Baruch are all those who revere Yahuah and walk in his ways. Tahalim 128, verse 1. This is part 2 of loving our neighbors righteously. But this is the part that has the scriptures that I was telling you about that are written in the law. Shemot 20, verse 16. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You will not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's. It is also found in Dabarim chapter 5, 21, beginning with verse 21. Shemot 21. Now these are the judgments that you shall set before them. If you buy an Hebrew servant, 6 years he shall serve, and in the 7th he shall go free for nothing. If he came in by himself, he shall go out by himself. If he were married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master have given him a wife, and she gave him or born him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her master's, and he shall go out by himself. Shemot 21, same chapter, verse 5. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free, then his master shall bring him to the judges. He shall bring him to the door or to the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl. He shall serve him forever. Same chapter, verse 7. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maidservant, she shall not go out. She shall not go out as the men servants do. If she please not her master who has betrothed her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed. To sell her into a strange nation he shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, he shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall not he diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. Same chapter, Shemot 21, verse 12. He that beat a man so that he die shall be surely put to death. And if a man lie not in wait, but Yahuah deliver him into his hand, then I will appoint you a place whither he shall flee. But if a man come presumptuously upon his neighbor to slay him with guile, you shall take him from mine altar that he may die. So if it was an accident, Yahuah is going to take care of that man. Shemot 21, same chapter, 15. And he that beats his father or his mother shall be surely put to death. Shemot 21, 16. And he that steals a man and sells him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. Wow. Slave trade. And he that curses his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. Shemot 21, verse 18. And if men strive together, and one beat another with a stone or with his fist, and he die not, but keeps his bed, and if he rise again and walk abroad upon his staff, then shall he that beat him be cleared. Only he shall pay for the loss of his time, and shall cause him to be thoroughly healed. Shemot 21, verse 20. If a man beat his servant or his maid with a rod, and he die under his hand, he shall surely be punished. Notwithstanding, if he continue a day or two, he shall not be punished, for he is his money. I think they slipped that one in. That does not sound like Yahuah. Shemot 21, verse 22. If men strive and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruit depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, he shall be surely punished according as the woman's husband will lay upon him, and he shall pay as the judges determine. And if any mischief follow, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. Shemot 21, 26. And if a man damage the eye of his servant or the eye of his maid, that it perish, he shall let him go free for his eye's sake. And if he knocks out his manservant's tooth or his maidservant's tooth, he should let him go for his tooth's sake. Oh my. Probably know what I'm thinking. Shemot 21, verse 28. If an ox gore a man or a woman that they die, then the ox shall be surely stoned, and his flesh shall not be eaten. But the owner of the ox shall be cleared. But if the ox were known to push with his horn in time past, and it had been testified to his owner, and he did not keep him in, but that also shall be put to death. He has killed a man or a woman, the ox shall be stoned, and his owner. Oh my goodness. If there be laid on him a sum of money, then he shall give for the ransom of his life whatsoever is laid upon him. Whether he have gored a son or have gored a daughter, according to the judgment shall it be done unto him. Some people do that with their children today. No, their child is this way or that way, and they will not discipline them. Then when they do something, they want compassion and kindness on their child. Shemot 21, verse 32. If the ox shall push a manservant or a maidservant, he shall give unto their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox shall be stoned. And if a man shall open a pit, or if a man shall dig a pit and not cover it, and an ox or an ass fall therein, the owner of the pit shall make it good, and give money unto the owner of them, and the dead beast shall be his. Shemot 21, 35. And if one man's ox hurt another's, that he die, then they shall sell the live ox, and divide the money of it, and the dead ox also they shall divide. Or if it be known that the ox was known to push in time past, and his owner did not keep him in, he shall surely pay ox for ox, and the dead shall be his own. Devarim 23, verse 25. When you come into the standing corn of your neighbor, then you may pluck the ears with your hand, but you shall not move a sickle to your neighbor's standing corn. Yahuah 6, as also can be seen in Proverbs 3:29. And Yahuah spoke to Musa, saying, if a soul transgresses and commits a trespass against Yahuah, and lied to his neighbor in that it was delivered him to keep, or in fellowship, or in a thing taken away by violence, or has deceived his neighbor, or have found that the loss and lies concerning it, and swears falsely, and any of all these that a man does, transgressing therein, then it shall be, because he transgressed and is guilty, that he shall restore that he took violently away, or the thing that he has deceitfully gotten, or that was delivered to him to keep, or the lost thing that he found, or all that about that he has sworn falsely. He shall even restore it in the principal, and shall add the 5th part more thereof, and give it unto him to whom he appertains in the day of his trespass offering. And he shall bring his trespass offering unto Yahuah, a ram without blemish out of the flock, with his estimation for a trespass offering unto the priest. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before Yahuah, and it shall be forgiven him for anything of all that he has done in trespassing therein. Wow, this was a crook here. Sounds like some stuff that would be in the court of law today. Well, their law. Yahuah 18, verse 20. Moreover, you shall not lie carnally with your neighbor's wife, to defile yourself with her. Devarim 15. At the end of every 7 years you shall make a release, and this is the manner of the release. Every creditor that loaned anything to his neighbor shall release it. He shall not exact it of his neighbor or of his brother, because it is called Yahuah's release. Instead, they're finding ways to add more interest, compounded daily over interest, whatever. Devarim 27, verse 17. Cursed be he that removes his neighbor's landmark, and all the people shall say, Ashe. Devarim 27, 24. Cursed be he that smites his neighbor secretly, and all the people shall say, Ashe. Yahuah 19:9. And when you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not wholly reap the corners of your field, neither shall you gather the gleanings of your harvest. Yahuah 19:10. And you shall not glean your vineyard, neither gather every grape of the vineyard. You shall leave them for the poor and stranger. I am Yahuah, your Eluah. He means it. He put his signature there. Yahuah 19:13. You shall not defraud your neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with you all night until the morning. So, when someone's working for you, let's say that you have a handyman or somebody, pay them that day. While you're here 1914. And most times they're doing handyman work, they need that money. You shall not curse the deaf. This is why you call 19 verse 14. Nor put a stumbling block before the blind, but shall fear your Yahuah. I am Yahuah. Another signature. Why you call 19:15. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. You shall not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shall you judge your neighbor. And in the other audio about loving our neighbor, and that's pretty much what was said then. You know, we don't take bribes and we don't honor certain people because of the positions they have. And no, we just do things righteously as by the law. Wayikar 19 verse 16. You shall not go up and down as a talebearer among your people, neither shall you stand against the blood of your neighbor. I am Yahuah. Wayikar 19 verse 17. You shall not hate your brother in your heart, but you shall surely rebuke your neighbor. Bear no transgression because of him. So, we need to tell people the truth about things. We need to rebuke them, we do it, but everything should be done in love and in kindness for the help of that person, not to put them down. We don't do the enemy's work. We don't go around condemning people. We want to, if Yah convicts them about something that is right, then praise be to Yah. But it's not our place to judge and condemn. Wayikar 25, try to make people feel bad for what they did. That's not our place. In the year of this Jubilee, you shall return every man unto his possession. If you sell anything to your neighbor or buy anything from your neighbor's hand, you shall not oppress one another. Wayikar 25:15. According to the number of years after the Jubilee, you shall buy of your neighbor, and according to the number of years of the fruits he shall sell unto you. According to the multitude of years you shall increase the price thereof, and according to the fewness of years you shall diminish the price of it. For according to the number of the years of the fruits does he sell unto you. You have to have good business practices. Wayikar 25:17. You shall not therefore oppress one another, but you shall fear your Yahuah, for I am Yahuah Yahuah. Wayikar 25:18. Wherefore you shall do my statutes and keep my judgments and do them, and you shall dwell in the land safely. That was Shemot. Most of that was Shemot 21, with some from Wayikar 19 and 25. Now we're in Shemot 22, verse 1. If a man shall steal an ox or a sheep and kill it or sell it, he shall restore 5 oxen for an ox or 4 sheep for a sheep. Verse 2. If a thief be found breaking in and he be beaten that he die, there shall no blood be shed for him. If the sun be risen upon him and there should be blood shed for him, but he should make full restitution. If he have nothing, then he shall be sold for his theft. So if he's beaten when he breaks in the house, but he lives, he's then that man's servant. And if he has nothing to be able to pay his way out, he can be sold. Shemot 22, verse 4. If the theft be certainly found in his hand alive, whether it be an ox or an ass or sheep, he shall restore double. If a man shall cause a field or vineyard to be eaten, and shall put it in his breast, shall feed another man's field, or the best of his own field, or the best of his own vineyard, shall he make restitution. That was verse 5. Shemot 22:5. If fire break out and catch in thorns, so that the stacks of corn or the standing corn or the field be consumed therewith, he that kindled the fire shall surely make restitution. Wow. Well. Shemot 22:7. That was mean, right? If a man shall deliver unto his neighbor money or stuff to keep, and it be stolen out of his man's house, if the thief be found, let him pay double. If the thief be not found, then the master of the house shall be brought into the judge to see whether he put his hand unto his neighbor's good. I remember years and years ago, I had left my TV with my sister. I had moved to another state. I was getting married, and someone had broken into her apartment and of course stole my TV, and she felt so bad, and she was planning on repaying me, and I told her, no, don't worry, don't even be concerned about that, that's okay. But she did the right thing. to know that instead of saying, well, wasn't my fault, they came and got my stuff too, why I gotta pay you? No, it was her who said, I'll pay you back. And she would have too. Shemot 22:14. And if a man borrow aught of his neighbor, and it be hurt or die, the owner thereof being not with it, he shall surely make it good. But if the owner thereof be with it, he shall not make it good. If it be a hired thing, it came for his hire. So, if someone borrows an oxen, well, now we have machinery to do a work and something happened to the owner, he would be responsible for paying it back. But if something happened to the oxen and the owner was standing there, he wouldn't be liable for it. And that's the thing about when we borrow. My mother raised us that, if you borrow and you break it, then you got to, if you didn't have the money to buy it in the first place and you borrow something and it breaks, now you got to find the money from somewhere to replace it for that person. So sometimes borrowing, we can find other ways to do it without having to borrow. And when we borrow, it needs to be taken back to that person in a better condition than when you got it. Shemot 22:9. For all manner of trespass, whether it be an ox, for an ass, for sheep, for raiment, or for any manner of lost thing that another challenges to be his, the cause of both parties shall come before the judges, and whom the judges shall condemn, he shall pay double to his neighbor. That kind of reminds me of time. Remember when the women went before King Solomon, and the woman said that one that was alive, that baby that was alive, was hers, and it really wasn't. It was the other woman, and Yah gave Solomon wisdom as to know how to find out which woman, because he didn't know which woman was telling the truth. Isn't that something? So I wonder what else he did for her, because that almost falls under this law here. Talking about borrowing, I remember at one point, I don't know, I had learned this from somewhere. I think it was probably reading the Word, but I was very young. I was in my late 20s, I guess, which to now is very young. But I remember when I would borrow, I didn't borrow, like I said, my mother taught us not to borrow, but I remember I was baking or something, and my neighbor, I asked her for a cup of sugar. And when I gave it back to her, I gave her 2 cups. She said, you didn't have to do that. And I said, no, but yes, I did. I need to do that. And I didn't have to, the way she said it, and maybe I didn't, but that's what I did. So, but we want to, because, sometimes borrowing can open the door for misunderstandings too. So we really have to be wise and see if that's what y'all would have us to do, because Dabarim 28 says that we will lend and not borrow. Praise be to Yah. Shemot 22:10. If a man delivers unto his ox, an ass or ox, or sheep, or any beast to keep, and it die, or be hurt, or driven away, no man seeing it, then shall an oath of Yahuah be between them both, that he has not put his hand unto his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept thereof, and he shall not make it good. And if it be stolen from him, he shall make restitution unto the owner thereof. If it be torn in pieces, then let him bring it for witnesses, and he shall not make good of that was torn. Just sounds like such good living, and people can learn to trust each other and take each other at their word if everyone is living by this. Shemot 22 verse 16. And if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. Shemot 22:22. You shall not afflict any widow or fatherless child. If you afflict them in any wise, and they cry at all unto me, I will surely hear their cry. And my wrath shall wax hot, and I will kill you with the sword, and your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. Shemot 22:25. If you lend money to any of my people that is poor by you, you shall not be to him as a usurer, neither shall you lay upon him usury. Shemot 22:26. If you at all take your neighbor's raiment to pledge, you will deliver it to him by the time the sun goes down. For that is his covering only, it is his raiment for his skin, wherein shall he sleep. And it shall come to pass when he cries to me, that I will hear, for I am compassionate. Warikar 24. And see, that's one of those things. How would you want people to do you? How do we want people to do us? Yahuah 24:19. And if a man cause a blemish in his neighbor as he has done, so shall it be done to him. Breach for breach, eye for eye, tooth for tooth. As he that caused a blemish in a man, so shall it be done to him again. Dabarim 22. This is the Amplified translation. You shall not see your brother's ox or his sheep being driven away or stolen, and hide yourself from them, for it is your duty to help. You shall surely take them back to your brother. And you can read that in Proverbs 24:12 also. And if your brother, the owner, is not near you, or if you do not know who he is, you shall bring the animal to your house, and it shall be with you until your brother comes looking for it, and then you shall restore it to him. And so shall you do with his donkey or his garment, with anything that is your brother's that is lost, and you have found it. You shall not hide from them concerning it, for it is our duty. You shall not, look at that, it is our duty. You shall not see your brother's donkey or his ox fall away by the way and hide from them. It's our duty concerning this matter. You shall surely help him to lift him up again. When you build a new house, then you shall, verse 8. So this is Devarim 28, verse 8. When you build a house, a new house, then you shall put a railing around your flat roof so that no one may fall from there and bring guilt of blood upon your house. So even think about people with that. You know, if we're, wow, higher level living, isn't it? Because what if this, if I do this, how will it affect other people? How will, let me think about this. Instead of being all about me, all about me. Devarim 23, verse 15. You shall not give up to your master's servant who has escaped from his master to you. Oh my goodness. He shall dwell with you in your midst wherever he chooses, in one of your towns where it pleases him. You shall not defraud or oppress him. Verse 19. You shall not lend on interest to your brother, interest on money or victuals or anything that is lent for interest. You may lend on interest to a foreigner, but to your brother you will not lend on interest. That Yahuah your Lord will rock you in all that you undertake in the land that you go to possess. Devarim 24:10. When you lend your brother anything, you shall not go into his house to fetch his pledge. You shall stand outside, and the man to whom you lend shall bring the pledge out to you. That's right. Devarim 24:12. And if the man is poor, you shall not keep his pledge overnight. You shall surely restore to him the pledge at sunset, that he may sleep in his garment and barak you. It shall be credit to you as righteousness and justice before Yahuah your Elohim. Devarim 24:14. You shall not oppress or extort from a hired servant who is poor and needy, whether he is of your brethren or of strangers or sojourners who are in your land inside your towns. You shall give him his hire on the day he earns it before the sun goes down, for he is poor and sets his heart upon it, lest he cry against you to Yahuah and it be a transgression to you. So you know someone's poor, they work for you. If they work for us that day, then we need to pay them that day. We know they're poor, they need the money, they need to eat, or whatever they need. It's none of our business. But if they're poor, it says here, if they're poor and needy, we need to pay them that day. Devarim 24:17. You shall not pervert the justice due the stranger or the sojourner or the fatherless, or take a widow's garment in pledge. But you shall earnestly remember that you were a slave in Mizraim, and Yahuah your Lord redeemed you from there. Therefore I command you to do this. Devarim 24, verse 19. And when you reap your harvest in your field and forgotten a sheaf in the field, you shall not go back to get it. It shall be for the stranger and the sojourner, the fatherless and the widow, that Yahuah your Lord may barak you in all the work of your hands. Wow. Devarim 24:20. When you break your olive tree, do not go over the boughs again. when you beat your olive tree, do not go over the boughs. Again, the leavings shall be for the stranger and the sojourner, the fatherless and the widow. When you gather the grapes of your vineyard, you shall not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger and the sojourner, the fatherless and the widow. You shall earnestly remember that you were a slave in the land of Mizraim. Therefore, I command you to do this. Have empathy. The last one, Devarim 5. I'm not going to read it. I already read it. It was in Shemot 20. It's the 10 Commandments. Or maybe I will read it. It's a good way to end. You shall not murder, neither shall you commit adultery. Neither shall you act slyly or steal. Neither shall you witness falsely against your neighbor. Neither shall you covet your neighbor's wife, nor desire your neighbor's house, his field, his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox or his donkey, or anything that is your neighbor's. Devarim 25, verse 13. You shall not have in your bag true and false weights, a large and a small. But you shall have a perfect and just weight and a perfect and just measure, that your days may be prolonged in the land that Yahuah your Elohah gives you. For all who do such things, all who do unrighteously, are an abomination to Yahuah your Elohah. So those were the verses, at least some of them, and that was about 53 of them. Wow, to be able to live righteously before Yahuah, to be representatives of him on the earth. How wonderful that is, and how it must please him to see us doing others right, being neighborly. And remember, our neighbors are not necessarily those who live next to us, but just mankind. And it's up to us to teach our children the same and our grandchildren the same. And in this world, we'll be scoffed at, ridiculed. But there's a few people who will appreciate it. I've seen people post things, on YouTube, little shorts where people have done right by people. So we have two. One was the one audio is about loving righteously, loving by the law, and this is some things about the law. So when you think about this, if someone has done us wrong, so let's say the one he says that if someone borrowed something, an ox to help with the farming, and something happened to the ox, then he already has a plan what's supposed to happen here, and so then we don't have to be concerned about trying to get them back, because first of all, how does that get them back? Seriously, by us being mean, it's affecting us. That analogy someone quoted says, not freeing someone of a transgression. People say forgive, but I don't really like that word. But not freeing someone of a transgression against us is like us drinking poison and hoping that it hurts them, it kills them. It's killing us. It's destroying us. To be bitter. And instead of finding ways to be grateful and thanking Yah for how he's going to work it out, we're bitter. We're getting clogged up. And then Yah's righteousness can't work through us. His compassion and his favor can't work through us because we're full of evil. So with that, I'm going to close. And there's some more, because this was not all that's written in the Torah, but it's enough. And there's other, because there's different categories of things too. But so be encouraged and stay encouraged. And hopefully when you listen back to these other, because y'all can bring other current, like modern type situations that might fall into the same category. But these ones about the slaves, oh my goodness, people were so done so wrong. And they were pushing the Bible. And then they weren't even doing right. All praises be to the Most High, who knows all things and does all things well. Until next time, brothers and sisters, be encouraged. And know we win in Yah. We win in Yah. I love you in Yahuah. And I really hope that you're striving. And that know that this way is getting harder. And the more we try to do right and get free of some of our evil ways, the harder it seems to chase us. I know. But just be encouraged, because he sees our heart and he sees the struggle and he knows the enemy. He's got his eyes on everything. He's seen it all. Y'all seen it all. Just be encouraged. Don't give up. Remember, we who endure to the end are the ones who are going to be saved. It ain't no walking down the aisle or whatever else people be doing. It's not even about keeping the Shabbat and reading the Torah if we ain't living it. What's the sense of doing all the outward show? Because we're not fooling Yahuah. We're not fooling Abba at all. So let's get our hearts right. Let's keep working it. And don't be discouraged when you fall short. Just get up. What? A righteous man may fall 7 times. And that ain't the end. Get up. Until next time, brothers and sisters, you stay encouraged. Keep fighting. And we're going to make it. All praises be to the Most High. All praises be to the Most High. We win in Yah. We win in Abba Yah. All praises.